Second module of uh, get started with Microsoft Fabric. Get started with lake houses in Microsoft Fabric. What are the lake houses? They merge data lake storage flexibility with data warehouse analytics. Basically, it merges data lake and data warehouse. Before starting, you must understand fundamental data storage and analytics concepts. Lakehouse is foundation of Microsoft Fabric. Built on the top of the OneLake scalable storage layer and uses Apache Spark and SQL compute engines for big data processing. By Apache Spark, they are referencing to Delta Lake Parquet storage, and by SQL compute engines, they are referencing to the SQL endpoint. Flexible, scalable storage of data. Later in this module, we will learn what is meant by flexibility and scalability of the lakehouse. And this is related to the SQL endpoint of the lakehouse. Okay, so by this, they mean that in the warehouse, we can only store tabular data, but in the lakehouse, in addition of tabular data, we can store unstructured data like images, etc. Delta format tables. It store data in the delta format tables. Delta logs, delta logs. Okay. It stores all the data formats. It can scale automatically. It can expand its storage automatically. Okay. Delta Lake plus data warehouse. We get Lakehouse. In the warehouse, normal warehouse, we have a relational schema modeling, SQL based querying, proven basis for reports and analytics. But Delta Lake brings in scalability, distributed file storage, flexible schema on read semantics, big data technology. Schema on read format means you define the schema as needed rather than having a predefined schema. We'll leave it. Basically, in the lakehouse, you can add the schemas. So for storing the data, you don't need to define schemas explicitly. Uh, Lakehouse by default stores the data in .dbo schema. Acid means atomicity, consistency, isolated data, and durability. Transactions through delta lake formatted tables for data. No, 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 don't. Basically, the concept of lakehouse is one of the concept was that single storage location for engineers, scientists, analysts who work on the data. In the Legos, we can create fabric shortcuts to external data sources such as Azure Data Lake, ADLS Gen 2, or OneLake. Analyze using SQL by SQL endpoint. Train machine learning models. You can connect notebook to Lakehouse. Real-time analytics. Okay. Event stream would be inputting data into Lakehouse, and then you can use it for real-time data by using direct lake mode. Or maybe there are real-time Power BI dashboard. I've not tried them, but they exist. And lastly, develop reports in Power BI. Security is managed either through the workspace level security, for example, viewer, member, admin, these kind of settings, and item level sharing. Item level sharing. Okay. By item level sharing, they mean that in the Power BI, for example, we share it. Where is the share item? Okay, basically, in the same way, you can like you can share the report. You can also share the lake house, and to the other person, the lake house it will be shared as an item in the one lake browser or whatever it is. Item level sharing for read only leads. All right. And workspace level access for collaborators to write, modify tables. Connect notebooks to them, data flow gen tools with the lakehouse, etc. to create shortcuts, etc. Data containers feature, we can add sensitivity labels to them by using Microsoft Purview with your favorite tenant. So only viewer cannot access the one lake. Admin member or contributor can access the one lake. But viewer can run SQL, docs or MDX queries, but can't access fabric items or run a notebook. This page provides an uh, so this will provides an overview of security features in Microsoft Fabric, a SaaS platform for data management and analytics. Key security aspects include always on. All interactions are encrypted and authenticated via Microsoft Entra ID, with data at rest also encrypted. So all of the things in Microsoft Fabric are controlled by Microsoft Entra ID security system. If you go to Azure AD, Azure AD, Entra ID, okay, I don't have access in my organization, but you can go there and check the things. Compliant Fabric supports data sovereignty and various compliance standards, mm, like data lineage and information protection labels. Authentication, network security, inbound and outbound bound network security, data protection, access control, and data recovery. Enter ID for authentication provided, including data gateways to connect to on-prem data sources or data sources that might protect by a firewall or virtual network. You can use one of these options: on-prem data gateways and virtual network gateway. I've never used virtual network data gateway. I don't know what it is. Or virtually created and managed Microsoft Fabric for each Fabric workspace. For the authentication, Fabric is authenticated with Microsoft Entra ID. Okay. Basically, basically it tracks your uh, email in simple words. So, virtual network data gateway is a critical component of Fabric security framework. It allows organizations to establish secure connection from cloud service to Azure data service that are hosted within the virtual network. Okay, securely without need for on-prem data gateway, which simplifies the connection process for the user. Within the Fabric, so in virtual network gateway, no installation required. Deploy inside your Azure VNet using Azure, etc., etc. Best when your data source is hosted in Azure but not publicly accessible. Okay, it is something related to Azure only when your data source is inside Azure, right? Only Power BI, more services are coming for VNet gateways, right? Now I understood. It's basically the virtual uh, version of normal on-prem gateways, right? So this is a very simple diagram to understand the permissions of each kind of role in workspace. Okay, let's go back. Uh, Here we were work with fabric lake houses. We create a lake house, three different items created: lake house, semantic model, a default semantic model of the lake house, and then SQL analytics endpoint, which allows read-only access uh, to query the data, to read the data which is stored in the lakehouse by using SQL. Add interact with tables folders in the lakehouse and SQL endpoint. And manage its relational semantic model, which is used for direct link. How we can ingest the data, upload the file, or use the data flow Gento's notebooks or pipeline copy data activity. Whether we can in, we can write data directly into the lakehouse, or we can use staging tables. Before your data reaches its final destination, it stops at the staging area. This is what staging means. Lakehouse staging, storage, then warehouse staging, and then output to the lakehouse. If the data source is same, then staging can speed up the thing significantly. According the source, you can pull the data from the staging area. Avoid processing it through the Spark query engine initially stage the raw data, then transform it as needed. After the staging, carry out necessary data transformations. Okay, first mark it as enable staging. Okay, let's see whether to stage it or not. Let's go jump to the conclusion. In summary, first directly diff performs better than the second DFG2. In this case, therefore, it looks like overhead of staging the data made the performance worse. Okay, mostly data flow performs better if you will not enable the staging generally, but not in every case. You need to check for the performance issues. Spark job definition can also be used to submit batch data, submit batch streaming jobs to Spark clusters. Uh, okay, let's see what is meant by Apache Spark job definitions. We upload some kind of binary files. How to create a Spark job definition in Fabric. Let's read what is Spark job definition. Uh, it's a Fabric code item that allow you to submit batch streaming jobs to the Spark cluster mainly from the real-time data. Uploading the binary file from the compilation output of different languages. For example, .jar from Java, I can apply different transformation logic to the data hosted on lakehouse. Binary file, you can further customize the behavior of a job by uploading more libraries and command line arguments. To run Spark job definition, you must have at least one lakehouse associated with it. This default lakehouse context serves as the default file system for the Spark runtime. The data is set from the default lakehouse. New item, then Spark job definition. Spark job definition. Cancel. I don't want uh trial license now. Create entry point to another entry point to create is data analytics using SQL tile on the Fabric homepage. Okay, for PySpark. Download this Parquet file and upload it to the file section of the Lakehouse. Create a new Spark job definition. Select PySpark Python from the languages drop down. Download the file and upload it as a main definition file. The main definition file job.mem is the file that contains the application logic to run the Spark job. For each Spark definition, you can upload one main definition file. Main definition file, upload it. Okay, name creative and .py. This is the Python file for it. Spark session. Print the spool name, right? Course memory instances, print it. Then allocation enable maximum executors, minimum executors. Parquet files, use this Parquet files. Then delta tables, two paths. Okay. Spark session.read.format. It's a .parquet file. Okay, first read the Parquet file and then uh, write this Parquet file in the lakehouse table, and lakehouse table format is the delta format. Save it on the delta table path, which is files, and then it will go files in the lakehouse, and then it will go to the yellow where is the tables, sorry, tables, and then table name would be yellow trip. Right. Scale over Java. From here we can select the language. All right. Okay. Nothing new. Basically, we submit the batch or streaming jobs to the Spark clusters. This is what a Apache Spark job definition is. It's a unit of execution. Job is a unit of execution which represent a complete action triggered by a user like collect, save, count, etc. Spark job explained simply. Complete set of tasks Spark performs to answer a single user action. Chat GPT love you. This is a complete job. It includes reading the file, filtering, grouping, counting, and the outputting the result. Job stages tasks. First is the job. In job we have stages, and in stages we have tasks. Spark Web UI in job tab. You can see job ID, stages, task execution tab. Alright. Now you understood it. I will. I don't think I will ever use it in my current job role, but okay, it's good to know. You can use shortcuts to access the data in Fabric. How? From data warehouses, KQL databases, and other lakehouses, we can create the shortcuts. Everything is managed by the one lake. If you have access to that item in one lake, you can access its shortcut. User must have permission of the target location to read the data. Okay. Lakehouses, we can use in lakehouses and KQL databases, and they appear as a folder in the lake, not as a table or other thing or files. Okay, folder. Explore and transform data in the lakehouse. We can use okay, transform data can be loaded in a file, either file or in the delta table. Notebooks, Dataflow Gen 2s or Gen 1s. And oh, sorry, not Gen 1s. We can't use Gen 1s for writing into the lakehouse. Pipelines. In the pipeline, we can use copy data activity, Dataflow Gen 1s, notebooks. All right. In the notebook, we have data wrangler. Uh, it's like Power Query. In Power Query, a visual kind of ETL tool for Python or Python. I think it also Python, SQL, or all of the languages which are in the notebooks, but kind of a graphical ETL tool. Okay, first create the lakehouse. Upload this file. When you will create the lakehouse, press this thing, this button. You can upload the CSV files. Which files we can upload? CSV, JSON, and Parquet Delta. Parquet Delta are formats, alright. CSV, JSON text files. Then go to the files and then the data folder. You'll see the file you have uploaded. If you will click on the three dots in front of the file, a new shortcut option will appear. Load the file to the table. So uh, here, if you will click the three options in front of the file you have uploaded, you will see the option of where option of load the data into the table, new table or the existing table. Load the data into the tables in lakehouses from the file, and after the data has been loaded, you will click on the table. uh, in the tables, if you will click the menu of the table and then select view files, you will see Parquet files and the delta logs. These are the delta logs of this table, and the table view would be like this, a tabular normal table. Files for the delta table are stored in the Parquet format. Table is the delta table and the files which are stored are in the Parquet format. And there is a subfolder data log which details of the transactions applied to the tables are logged. Basically kind of a version, it keeps a variance of the table. You can go back and restore a version of the table. I think yes. I once tried it. In the warehouses, definitely you can restore back. In Fabric, I tried it once. I think yes, we can do it. We can restore the previous version of the table. Use SQL to query the data. If you will go to this option, press down, um, SQL endpoint option will appear. Run this query, Wait, create a visual query. There is option of the visual query. Yeah, here new visual query. Visual format of the Power Query to explore the data. Apply some ETL steps, and also there is a this model tab in the SQL endpoint where you can make a semantic model. You can basically configure the relationships of the tables in your lakehouse for your for direct lake semantic models for direct lake semantic models. Right, done. Control Shift T. Here we are. Your organization wants to compare and structure a structured data combined with social media feeds for analysis. Why might lakehouse be more suitable than a traditional warehouses? Because it can store every kind of things. It can store all data formats. Integrate external data in lakehouse while keeping a store in its original locations. Shortcuts. Data integrity and consistency within the lakehouse. Asset atomicity, consistency, integrity, and D for durability. Integrity and consistency. Data lake format. No, no. Well, how? Okay. I'm pressing the wrong one so that uh, I will get the explanation of the wrong answer. Typical data lake because it has warehouse capabilities, SQLs. ML models use the notebooks. Data is inconsistent. Let's press the wrong one to see the explanation of the right answer, which is asset transactions. SQL endpoint. Okay, it orchestrates, it combines and automates the ETL processes, pipelines. Okay. The significant benefit of schema on read in Fabric compared to predefined schemas are that flexible data, less storage space. No, no, just flexible data ingestion and transformation. He explained me why it was wrong. ingest and transforms structured data using visual interference in Fabric Lakehouse. Data flow Gen 2s? Weird, weird, weird. Uh, it was data flow Gen 2s. Well, let me just check it again. Visual query. Okay, visual query is in data flow Gen 2s. Right, right, right. Fabric Legos provide value as a SaaS data store, software as a service. It's not. Software as a service means you have to subscribe uh, their service. It does not comes as a separate software. For example, Power BI Desktop is a software, standalone software, and software as a service is Power BI services. Data engineering documentation in Fabric, VS Code integration. Lake Houses, Core Spark Compute, Pocket Spark, Delta Lake. Alright, that's all.